So Dildos and Dislocations was born several years ago because I have always been someone who's very open with my sexuality, as whereas just like I grew up in a household full of hippies where sex was just a open conversation. It was never something that I felt like I needed to be scared to ask my parents questions about. It was always something that we were all very open about. I was taught anatomical terms for genitalia at a really young age. There was a whole thing when I was in kindergarten. Fell on the slide and I hit my pubic bone. The teacher asked me what hurt. And I said, oh my God, I hurt my vagina. And I got in trouble. She called my mom and my mom's like, why are you calling me for her saying the word vagina?
Yeah.
And then she hangs the phone up. Like it's a whole thing. So my mother and my father are very open. And when I was kind of deciding what I was going to do, going to college, I wanted to go initially into nursing school right out of high school, but my college's nursing program, the wait list was too long and I changed my mind with my major too many times. I ended up settling on health sciences with a concentration in human sexuality. I said, this is what interests me. You know, I like being able to be that person that my friends come to just ask their most candid, not very sexy questions about sex. I love that because it doesn't bother me a bit. And I want people to feel as comfortable talking about sex as I do. And I always have. And so when my disability began to also affect my sex life, I said, whoa. All right. We're turning to social media. There's gotta be something out there. There's gotta be something. I found one podcast and I think like one book, and that was it. That was the end of the list. And so then I went on that podcast and I talked, and then that was about it. And I was like, all right, I'm apparently just going to start making my own stuff. Like this is like I had learned some things along the way, and I wanted to share the little accommodations that I had made with my own sex life with other disabled people out there, because I couldn't find anyone just candidly talking about sex specifically for our community. So I said, well, why not?
It's so interesting because I literally yesterday was having a conversation with someone who is a disability sex educator, and like so many things that were said in terms of accessibility blew my mind. And we were talking about toys, and what he was saying is it's not always like the buttons that are the issue. It might be the packaging, it might be the colors, it might be the textures. And all of this stuff is not something that you would naturally think about as someone who doesn't necessarily have those issues, right? And as soon as he started talking about it, and we were talking about these things like, what about the packaging? How do you get in if you can't use both your wrists or your fingers aren't that dexterous? Like, what do you do? And honestly, like, it blew my mind, which makes me feel really bad as a disabled person, because I'm all like, fly the flag, like, do what you got to do to make yourself feel good. But actually, there are so many like barriers to entry when it comes to that world. And actually, disability in sex is the last taboo, because how often is it that you see disability and sex and it equals fetish rather than anything else? Because that's exactly where people's mind goes to immediately.
Because it is honestly somehow either for them to conceptualize like disability and sex as this strange taboo kink thing than just disabled people having normal boring sex because they like it.
Yeah, because we're all virgins, and we all pray to Mary Magdalene. That's the one that was Jesus's person. The Virgin Mary, that's who I meant. She's the one. She's our idol because she did nothing.
Yes.